Horror games are consistently one of the most popular subgenres in gaming, which leads me to believe that there's a lot of gamers out there that like getting scared, even if they don't like it in the moment. Aspects like safe rooms and overwhelming feelings of relief are actually a key aspects of why we find horror games so engaging. This suggests that the rush and the thrill of a scary moment in a horror game can cause an uptake of emotions that not only scare us, but excites us. Sons of the Forest is not only a horror game, but a survival game as well. Question is, what's the gameplay like? Who's behind the title? And when will this game be released? If you're curious about any of these questions and more, then join me in taking a sneak peek at Sons of the Forest. And if you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell to help the channel grow. And if you're interested in other horror games, then check out my video on Dying Light 2, and I'll post it in the link down below. And with that out of the way, let's get back to Sons of the Forest. Sons of the Forest is the much anticipated sequel to the horror survival game The Forest. The Forest was a commercial success, selling over 5 million copies by the end of 2018. It's being developed and published by Endnight Games, a studio based out of Vancouver, Canada. Spearheaded by Ben Falcone, game director, and Rod Green, lead programmer. In the first game, The Forest, you play as Eric LeBlanc. You must survive on a forested peninsula in search of your son Timmy, who was taken away by a mysterious figure after a devastating plane crash. No spoilers here, but the story unravels entirely on in-game clues. The deeper you go, the more previous explorers you find. Questions are answered, but a lot of the answers lead to more questions. Sons of the Forest is the sequel and an expansion on the type of visual storytelling they did on the first game. They're keeping the story close to their chests. Fans of the franchise are pretty sure that the game will follow an older Timmy, a survivor of the first installment. The game looks to be reviving many gameplay elements that worked in The Forest. Players will have to survive the wilderness and the constant threat of attack by crafting different items and shelters. Chopping trees, digging, hunting for food are all part of the gameplay mechanics. In addition to the day and night cycle from the first game, Sons of the Forest will also feature new weather mechanics that's sure to add a bit of a challenge. According to the developers, the terrain can freeze and become covered in snow, making traveling difficult. It remains to be seen if and how these elemental changes might affect the player's weapons and items. Although guns can be used, ammo is extremely scarce. Players will have to rely heavily on melee combat, as well as all new traps and defenses that can be built using supplies found on the island. We're adding a lot more freedom in what traps can be built. And along with the other building improvements, we hope this will give players a lot more creativity as far as how they defend their bases. Multiplayer will be back, and the developers are really excited about some of the new features they're adding. The game will be using the latest Unity engine. The new rendering and lighting allows the developers to produce a much more convincing world with more realistic shading effects, realistic rain droplets on your weapons, and also freeze and have snow accumulation, allowing seasons and major weather changes that affect the entire game world. The game is set to be released on May 20th, 2022, and it will only be released on the PC at this time. So if you like survival games and horror games, then Sons of the Forest should be on your radar. Do you enjoy these types of mystery survival horror games? Comment down below. And if you like this video, guys, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And don't forget to check out my last video, Gotham Knights. And as always, guys, thank you for stopping by my channel. I'm Az, and thanks for watching.